Welcome to the Jiu Jitsu Crucible Podcast.
Roger doesn't lose this kind of control. He's not the guy who loses this kind of control. I think he got it. I think he's gonna get it.
Buchecha on the choke here, really close to finishing. Excuse me, Roger on the close to Buchecha. Looks very
He's gonna get it.
Join us as we talk about competition, recreational training, business development, and all things Jiu Jitsu. Strength and honor.
Strength and honor! Okay, guys, welcome to the Jiu Jitsu Crucible Podcast, episode 4 with Elijah Big Breakfast Dorsey. How you doing tonight, Elijah?
Everything's great. Feel Fridays are good because my nights end earlier. Usually Monday through Thursday, I'm out until like 10:30 training. So tonight, all I have in the evenings are a private lesson, and then I call it a day.
So before we get into the training routine, why don't you basically tell everybody, you know, how old you are, where you were born, and basically your kind of backstory and how you got involved in jiu-jitsu, kind of starting right from the beginning.
Okay, cool. Yeah, again, my name is Elijah Dorsey. I'm 23 years old. I was born in Annapolis, Maryland. Annapolis is the capital of Maryland, but I was raised in PG County, Maryland. I started jiu-jitsu when I was technically 7. I started martial arts at 6 here at Lloyd Irvin, but I started jiu-jitsu at 7. So like when we first start, we were introduced to, I was in the summer camp. So I was in the summer camp program. We were introduced to like Muay Thai and jiu-jitsu. So we call it Thai jiu-jitsu, like a combination of both. And the summer camp was a little bit different than your normal routine that we have throughout the rest of the year. So it's more lax, more games, more different activities rather than just focusing on martial arts per se. That is also incorporated, but that's not the solo focus. The focus is to have fun and everything like that. But yeah, started jiu-jitsu at 7. Did my first competition, I think, at 7. And yeah, so I've been doing jiu-jitsu for 16 years now. It's pretty crazy to think about.
So was your first exposure with jiu-jitsu with Team Lloyd Irvin? So right from the beginning, you've been with the same team?
Yes. So like I said, from 6 years old, my first time ever even knowing what martial arts is was here. My brother actually did like Taekwondo before, so this wasn't his first experience, but first experience with martial arts. But I didn't do Taekwondo. This is my first experience with martial arts.
So that brings you to what? You're 24 now?
23. Turned 24 in September.
Okay. Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, we're gonna get this out of the way, and I'm sure you're probably sick of talking about it, but just for clarification, because you know I've had you to my academy a few times and stuff, and you know, what's with the nickname?
So, I don't like. Usually, there was just actually one time I have a picture of my phone. I actually took a picture of my stomach because like I got up to like almost 25 to 27 pounds heavier than I weighed in at the competition from the week after being at your gym, just from me eating. After the competition, I usually like blow up. So I just keep eating. I just wanted to try different things when I was down there. So the name Big Breakfast actually comes from my teammate Jamil, who he's usually known for like not making fun of people in a bad way, but like just like in a friendly way, like trolling and stuff like that. We call it up here Jonin, but he's usually like a good name caller. And one day I think we were just like at a restaurant, and I'm just like known for being the guy that when people are done their food, they know to bring it to me because I'm going to finish their food for them. Because I think it's like something like it's like a mental thing. I don't know what it is. Like I just don't like to see food left on the table, no matter like if I'm still hungry or not. Like literally last week, I'm like going way off page, but I was like literally last week I was at my cousin's graduation party and I'm not even hungry anymore. But there's food on the tables and I'm just like, well, I don't got anything else to do, so I'm just gonna go eat. Literally, that's eating is just like a reflex. So that's where the name came from. He just out of nowhere said big breakfast just because it had a good ring to it, and then it just stuck around.
So, I'm just trying to imagine in my mind. You roll into Team Lloyd Irvin, 6, 7 years old. You're in the summer camp. You're saying the emphasis was having fun. Now that brings us up to today, and you are undisputably one of the preeminent American Jiu-Jitsu competitors right now. So kind of, try to put that together for us. How, you said you had your first go in competition at 7. Now you're 23. It doesn't matter if it's BJJ Stars, ADCC, IBJJF events. You've really kind of put your mark and your stamp on things. And, I would argue your last 12 to 18 months, I think, has really been a breakout period in your career. So, like, what was the journey like? Were you always good, or like, just kind of bring us from that first competition to how you progressed to one of the top professional jiu-jitsu competitors in the U.S.?
Yeah, so overall, as a kid competing, I was fortunate enough to win like majority of my competitions. I'm not like a big person to blow on my own head, but I didn't really lose that much as a kid. So I was pretty used to winning. I probably like I don't know the exact number because we competed so much here on the East Coast at like the Nagas, the Grapplers Quest, Copa Novas, so like all the smaller tournaments, and then like when the bigger tournaments started to come, like Kids Pans, that was 2011. So from 2011 to 2016, I competed at the Kids Pans each year, and I won 5 Kids Pans titles, and I got 1 bronze. So like I have a lot of medals, a lot of belts from like the Naga scenes, the Grapplers Quest scenes. So like over here on the East Coast, Naga was like the biggest thing that we had growing up. Grapplers Quest right behind it. Then you had like your other small things like Good Fight and Copa Novas. All the best guys went to the Nagas into the Grapplers Quest, and I was fortunate enough to be one of the guys to usually come out with the wins. But along with my teammates too, because we all usually, like, when we come back home, we will always go up together and come back together at the tournament. So we would usually all come back full-handed with our medals and belts and stuff like that, going out to eat after and celebrating each tournament. So, okay, this happens a lot, but can you restate the question? Because sometimes I just get like off page and I'd like to forget.
Well, the question was, how did the journey start as being in summer camp at 7 and doing a competition to like now you're a full-time, you're arguably one of the faces of American Jiu-Jitsu right now. So that's a long way from doing your first competition when you're 7.
Yeah. I would say, well, for the first thing, we can start with this. The community here is what kept me here. That's the first thing. Like the family-oriented community here at Lloyd Irvin, I definitely appreciate that. I have built lifelong relationships, so that's what kept me around here for this long, and what will keep me around for the rest of my life. So that's that, and that was built in from day one. From day one at the summer camps, everyone is like really close knit because we have to be competitive with each other and build a relationship with each other and do teamwork stuff with each other. So that's when we already are building that bond, building that that community of competition from the beginning. And my first competition, I don't remember my first competition, but I know one time I got burped. Like I lost, and then I was like crying on the mat, and the referee picked me up and started patting me on the back to console me after I lost. But yeah, it's definitely been a journey. It's definitely been a journey. This 16 years.
Would you be able to recap, like, what did your career look when you entered the IBJJF juvenile division?
So yeah, so rolling into juvenile scenery, I had just come off of a Kiss Pans gold medal in 2016, and in 2017, that's the year that I transitioned from middle school to high school. So that transition, I was playing other sports in middle school as well, so my 100% focus wasn't solely on jiu-jitsu because I was playing other sports. I had other focuses. I wanted to, fit in with the people at school and stuff like that. So going into juvenile, I was freshman year, I actually was running track, so it wasn't the best showing for me in juvenile, at least juvenile one. I went to Pans. I got third in my division, and then I lost like second round in open class. And then I came back around. I was still running track, but I wasn't like as mentally focused on track as I was with jiu-jitsu, as I was before Pans. And at Worlds, I ended up getting second in my division, and then I won the open class.
That juvenile two.
Juvenile one. That was juvenile one.
Juvenile one.
Yeah. So then juvenile. So that feeling that I had, like in the weight class finals, was like a less than a minute match, and it was just like, what the heck, like I got armbarred in like or triangled in like less than a minute or like a minute, and I'm like, I do not want to like put myself in that spot again. So I stopped running track. I just like stopped running track. I probably went to like one more practice, and then I just like call it quits pretty much after that. And the coaches understood. They knew what I was doing with the jiu-jitsu stuff, so they were just like, okay, they're pretty fine with it. And then so come back around another 365 or 300 days to the next Pans, and I got second again in my weight class, and then I ended up winning the open. So I lost to the same guy that I did at juvenile in the finals of Pans, and then I came back around and then won the open class, and then the next year at Worlds I was able to win double gold. Ended up beating that guy that was beating me the last two times. I beat him in the finals of the open class. So I ended up focusing more on jiu-jitsu. My training time was more. My mental focus was more. So I came back around, and it paid off that time. With me ended up getting double gold at the Worlds, juvenile too.
And then, if you don't mind, if you could just give us a quick recap of blue, purple, brown at adult.
So right after Worlds, I was 17. So 2018. My birthday's in September, so my math isn't mathing. No, I'm tripping. Right, I think right after Worlds, we usually have like belt promotions after Worlds. People get promoted based off their performance at Worlds. You win, you're pretty much like kind of like bound to go to the next belt because you don't want to sandbag. So, yeah, so. Right after Worlds, I got promoted to purple belt. So I never went through the adult circuit at blue belt. So I went straight to purple belt, and then come back around to 2019. I didn't have a great gi showing at either of the majors that I did, which was Pans and Worlds. I ended up losing both of them in the quarters. and that was at featherweight. And then I later in the year in September, I did Nogi Pans, adults, and I was able to win the Nogi Pans. I won the Nogi Pans at adult in 2019. So that's purple belt. And then right after, 2019 goes through, and then COVID hits. So COVID was like, it was definitely a whole mental reset because it helped me focus and know what I wanted, it helped me know what I wanted in life. Like during COVID, I was like, well, I don't know where the world's gonna go. I'm not even like in contact with people. I don't know if we're ever gonna train again because everything's closed down. We don't know what's happening. So I was just like doing online school. I graduated from high school in COVID, and then I did like some online classes for the first semester of fall, but it wasn't for me. And then I was kind of like in the focus of like, maybe I can play football because my football is like my number one favorite sport. I was like, maybe I can be a walk-on to like I can enroll in college and just like be a walk-on or something like that the next year. But then come back around 2021, I got promoted to brown belt in I think April of 2021. And then when I did my first tournament at brown, it was Memphis Open. Memphis Open, I got my first double gold at adult. And then did Orlando Open with the kids pans. I got first in my weight class. I don't think I placed in the open. And then I went around to pans, and I won pans at brown belt 2021. Then that thing. Wait, I think I met you in 2020 at the Orlando Open, right?
Yeah, because we had Jamil in.
Yeah. Yep. So, so then one pans at brown belt 2021, came back around to Worlds 2021, and I was a first round clown. After being the number one seed, everything seemed like it was going well. I was a first round clown. Ended up losing my first match at the Worlds. So I stayed at brown belt. I really wanted to get the black belt after that year. I felt like the momentum was good, but things just didn't go my way. I felt prepared. I felt everything was good, but the day didn't go as planned. So come back around in 2022. I ended up winning pans again at brown belt. Won twice at pans, brown belt, and then I got second at Worlds. Again, everything seemed like it was going good. I had 5 or 6 matches in the day, and then going up to the final, I was like, I was pretty tired. And I didn't get like a lot of time between my semifinal and my finals match, and other factors as well, like the hydration wasn't the best, other things like that, and I ended up losing the finals, so I was pretty let down. And I got second at Worlds. I thought I was going to be a brown belt again because I got second, but then I ended up getting promoted to black belt, and then that's when my black belt career started. I did a couple opens, did Euros, and circle around all the way around, and now we're here.
Gotcha. So, I think one of the most prolific accomplishments to come out of Team Lloyd Irving, and you've mentioned him already in the podcast, was Jamil. Like kind of the white to black belt ends up, being black belt world champion.
Right.
So did he ever factor into your journey? Like, did you look at him and take a lot of inspiration and motivation from him?
For sure. So yeah, the way we were coming up, there was always somebody ahead. So like people that were here before me, they're older. Jamil was one of those guys. Definitely other people as well, like Malachi, Angelo. All of them are like the generation before me. So we looked up us younger people. We looked up to them. People behind me, they look up to me. So on and so forth. So, yeah, like I think on Instagram, like you can literally see a picture of me as like a little kid. We're like walking from getting food before practice, and I'm like looking up at him, like laughing. We have food in our hand, big breakfast. Anyways, so yeah, like the everything gets fed down from one generation to the next, and he was one of the guys that I looked up to from that generation before me.
Were you there when he won his world title?
Yeah. So actually, that was 2018. So I won double gold juvenile, and then he won the black belt worlds. So it was like, oh snap! Like one day I'll be there. Yeah.
So pretty good year then.
Yeah. So we had actually 2 black belt world champions that year because Muhammad Ali, he won as well. So yeah, he won before. He actually won before Jamil because Leandro Lowe was in the finals versus Muhammad, but he had made the open class finals. So they do the open class, the people that's in the open class finals before the rest of the people.
And that was the year that Lowe got injured.
Right. He got injured in the match with Muhammad.
Mm-hmm. Bushesh ended up giving him.
Right. Rest in peace.
So, so going back to Team Lloyd Irving, can you try to explain to people, because Master Lloyd, as an example, he's an OG in the sport, been around forever, very outspoken, very kind of polarizing figure within the community. So where does he fit in day to day at TLI? Like, is he overseeing practice, or like just what's his day to day function now that you're on the front lines? And, I think, again, you're one of the preeminent flag bearers for Team Lloyd Irving.
So right now, his days for training wise pretty much is morning and night for the most part. Like right now, this is going into the training regimen as well. So I train Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 10:30, between 10:30 and 11, depending on like work and stuff like that. So 9 to 11, and he's overseeing that. And then he goes nowadays he's going right into the MMA training as well. So he'll be there for the MMA training from 11 to I think 1, and then he does his other stuff that he does business wise and stuff like that. Then he comes back at night. Usually Wednesdays is 7:30, and then the other days it's like 8:30 or 9.
So I think one of the things I'd like to understand, because I know you guys, I've had you and Malachi and Jamil, and I've had all these guys, and I know that somebody who plays such a huge part in Team Lloyd Irving, and he's known to a point, but he doesn't have that popularity, if you will, of Master Lloyd, is Master Donnie. So why don't you kind of run it up like this is what Master Donnie does versus what Master Lloyd, so people that aren't super familiar with TLI, they just have a bit of an understanding of the structure and the hierarchy.
Right. So Master Donnie was actually my first in jiu-jitsu instructor. Like I said, I was in summer camp, so there was like summer camp coordinators that it wasn't Master Donnie, because I was a younger kid, so we had like someone overseeing the 6-year-olds and below. I was 6. So he was my first jiu-jitsu instructor. He was pretty much my solo jiu-jitsu instructor, like for the most part. Like he would run like the kids program here. So yeah, he was pretty much my instructor from when I started jiu-jitsu until now. Like he still plays a big role in my jiu-jitsu career right now. Although he doesn't like oversee all of my practices, all of my trainings, he still has he's still Master Donnie. He's still that guy. He still plays a huge role with my jiu-jitsu. I don't really know exactly too much more to explain. He's the head guy for the kids program growing up. Like everything pretty much went through him. Obviously, like Master Lloyd is the head, but Master Donnie was like also the head, but just like over the kids program. And yeah, that's.
So when would you, as you're training as a child, when would you start getting more exposure with Master Lloyd as opposed to with Master Donnie? Is it more of an age thing or a skill thing? Or both?
Both per se. Like Master, like it's not like I just didn't know who Master Lloyd was. Master Lloyd is still Master Lloyd. He just comes in for specific things like the adult pro training, the adult MMA. Like he has other things that he has focuses on. He can't focus on everything. So,
So what age were you when you started with adult pro training?
I first like we would like with the kids program, our training room with the kids that grew up, we would like cross train with the adults as well. So like I was a teenager when I first like if I had to like give a first day that I was in a Master Lloyd's class, it was when I was a teenager. Like I would be in the room with DJ Jackson, Keenan, JT, like everyone would be there. Yeah, Muhammad, like I would
What
be in that
age were you
class.
at that point when all those guys were still there?
So when JT, I was like 11. I was like 11.
And do you still really remember that?
I remember them being here, but they were like the guys.
Of
So
course.
like I wasn't always around. Like I would be in school like while they were training. So I would cross paths with them. I would see them. Some of them would come in like during the after school program, like when they're like say they were just lingering around after their training session, and I come from school, they'll be here. So I'll like say hi and stuff like that. They'll be there.
So
But
correct me if I'm wrong, at ADCC, you had a match with JT.
yeah, yeah.
So try to, because, obviously, I think by any metric, in jiu-jitsu, JT's a big deal. I think he's even a bigger deal in American jiu-jitsu.
For sure.
And, obviously, he did leave TLI quite some time ago. But, you just mentioned, oh, I was 11. I was in the room with these guys. And for sure, him and Keenan were the guys. What was that match like? Was it kind of surreal, or was it just oh my God, what was going through your mind?
I really didn't like. I tried not to look at him as a certain type of way. Like, oh, this is the guy that I grew up with, or this is the two-time ADCC champ. Like, I tried not to play. It was just another person that was in the path. And then after, it was all mutual respect. Definitely recognized we were on the same team before. You were somebody that I looked up to. When you're here, I mean, even after that, still, because we still have close relation with him. But he's just not representing the team. He has his own school. He has his own things going on. Yeah, but during the match, it was just another guy in the path to my goal. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't too much of, oh, this guy. I wasn't starstruck. That's the word. I wasn't starstruck from it.
Do you think it was unique? Because, obviously, once upon a time, Master Lloyd had spent so much time with JT.
Yeah.
And he probably knew, obviously JT's been away. He was at Atos. He evolved so much. But, I'm sure, some of those mental things, I'm sure Master Lloyd had a bond with him in the lead up to the match in terms of tactics or strategy. Do you think that was, an ace up your sleeve?
Yeah, because, I mean, definitely, with the coaching back and forth with him, with Master Lloyd, giving me some tips on what to look out for, because he has, such good, knowledge of JT's game. Even, like you said, he evolved so much as an athlete even after he was here, but still, Master Lloyd studies him. He knows him from before, so he still knows tendencies. He knows what JT knows from here, and he studies him. So pre-match, preparing for him.
Cool. So I want to go really to the comp stuff, and we talked about some of the disappointments going out the first round at Worlds and stuff. I always find it really compelling to try to understand the mind of a competitor because it's really so different, especially for, most of the people that watch the podcast, listen to the podcast. They're nowhere near your level on a competition level. They don't have aspirations to be. But when you categorize all your competitions, what's the toughest loss you ever had for you?
Toughest.
Like whether it be, and what I mean by that is more mental or emotional.
I would say, I would probably say the brown belt finals.
Who did you fight in the finals?
Carlos Enrique. I would probably say that one because it was like so many matches, and it was like this is the moment right here, and I didn't bring it out at the moment, so and that was like one step away from a world title, so that was like wow. No, I'm sorry, I can't say that. Well, okay. I think it was the 2021 Worlds, because I was like a first round clown. It was like a super hype match because it was against Cade Rotullo. So like that had me like, me being like the 1 seed and me going against Cade Rotullo was like, okay, like this is the match. This is what we wanted. This is the match that we're looking for. That was a hard one. That was a tough one. Tough pill to swallow. That one was pretty bad.
I think it's really interesting because I'm the ultimate. I'm a pretty quiet guy. I mean, you've known me for a few years. I prefer not to talk too much, but like the first time I went to the World Championship was in 2004 when Hodger broke Chakra's arm.
Mm-hmm.
And how old were you then? You were 1, I think, right?
Probably 2.
So
yeah, probably 2.
But to give you an example, Elijah, like I've never missed a world championship since.
Mm-hmm.
I've been at every one. And the first time I went to ADCC was in '05 when Hodger had his run. I've been at every ADCC since. Like, I mean, I'm talking Beijing, Helsinki, Nottingham. And so I've seen so many footage and I've seen this throughout the time. And, you mentioned 2 tough losses, Carlos Enrique, Cade Rotullo.
Mm-hmm.
But what I think that's super compelling is so there's the 3 of you, 2 Americans and a Brazilian. And I remember at brown belt, Carlos Enrique was like a terror.
Yeah.
And, I don't want to sound disrespectful, but like he's just not now. And like you really, I mean, by any competition metric, it's not my opinion. Mm-hmm. You've really, really gone on to surpass what he has done. I realized he moved to the States. He's got married. He has a kid on the way.
Yeah.
There's all these material facts. Obviously, Cade Rotullo just shot, he's doing amazing as well.
Mm-hmm.
So as an athlete, when you look at that, what do you make of that? Because it's like you and Carlos Enrique were there, and he just kind of declined, or he's maybe just at a different stage in his life, and he's not taking things as serious he once was. What do you make of that as such an avid competitor?
Yeah, so I mean, like you say, he has different things going on. I know he's in the UFC. He was in the UFC like reality show thing, but he once he did all his stuff, he moved to the States. He got married, having a kid. He like changed his mindset to more of like at least from what it seems, like more of a monetary focus instead of like a goal focus. For me, I'm more goal oriented. Like I want to win such and such. I want to win titles, and then like the all the monetary stuff that will follow. So I think that just the different mentalities of the way to approach a sport. One being monetary, one being like title driven. I think that plays a huge role. So for me, after that, I just look back at it, and I see how far I've come and how much I've overcome, and I just know that persistency will like at some point the water is gonna beat the rock. Like water beats the rock. So I'm just gonna keep going, keep going, keep going, and at some point everything will pay off. So that's more of my mentality of it. Even if like yesterday I was down, but now the next day I'm back up and I'll keep going.
So what do you make of this thing that I think it's a relatively hot topic in the jiu-jitsu community? And you mentioned Carlos Enriquez at a different place in his life. Maybe he's focused on monetary stuff. But we have all these preeminent jiu-jitsu guys, like in my mind, whether it be Philippe Pena, Nicholas Mergali, Victor Hugo. It seems, there might be some issues there with those guys in the IBJJF. But like for me as a kind of a super fan, it kind of sucks not to see them in the pyramid. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not to see them going for that absolute. And it's like, there's been this rumor of like whether it be Melky Gavon and Guy Mendez, they're trying to hold Mika and Tynan away to monetize like a Guy super fight.
Mm-hmm.
So I get it. Athletes want to get paid. I want athletes to get paid. But at what point does it kind of suck? Because I always thought the best thing about jiu-jitsu was if you want to go rub elbows with Roger Gracie or Marcelo Garcia or Adolfo Vieira or Buchecha, like we have the sport where we can do that. But it's now you have these guys, because I still think Nicholas Mergali's probably the best guy in the world with the gi. Like, it just sucks not to have him at the pyramid.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that as an athlete and as a fan?
No, definitely. I think both of the. I'm kind of like you. Like I believe people should get paid for what they do, but at the same time, like as a fan, I definitely want to see like the guys. Like it's sad. It's kind of sad to see, like for example, like at Worlds. When it's finals day, they got all the production and stuff like that, the lights, the cameras, the single mat in the middle. And it's kind of sad to see, like, once this hype finals is over, people start walking out of the stands. Like, I think that if everyone was solely focused on, like, getting the titles, I would say, like, I mean, obviously people have their priorities, but, like, say those guys that you named, the ultra heavy, the bigger guys. Like, I don't want to see. I mean, obviously these guys got to make opportunities for themselves as well. The people that are competing, but I don't want to see like people walking out of stands because they don't know who this guy is down in the ultra heavy, super heavy finals. Like we need the competition. That's what's gonna bring more eyes. That's what's gonna bring the money along with it. Like if everyone just goes their other route, then how are we gonna get the money for Worlds? Where are we gonna get paid from? Because people aren't gonna want to come as much. So the IBJJF is gonna be like, well, if people aren't gonna be coming in, if you're not gonna draw them in, then why would we pay out? So it's like it's kind of double-sided. Like one, people are like looking out to get money instead of building a way to bring in money from competing here, if that makes sense.
So in terms of, we talked about your toughest loss. I want to hear from you what your absolute favorite win has been.
I would probably say the trials, the trials win. That's I can think of. That's been the my biggest emotional reaction in a match. I don't think I've ever like screamed like that or yelled like that after a match. Right into like it was like a whole different spectrum of emotions. Like it was like yelling and hype and stuff like that. Next thing you know, I'm like crying, and then I'm just like mix of emotions. Like I don't know what to think, because like literally months before that, I didn't even plan on doing it, and it was just like, wow, I actually just did that. So it was like, oh wow.
So there is one match I want to ask you about, and one of the reasons is it was just so memorable for me. I was down in Brazil for Brasileiros, and I was there early for a training camp with my son. Mm-hmm. And my son is, he's on his phone 24 hours a day. And then, he's throwing his phone and he's cursing with the Mika Galvão fight. And my son like so many people out there, thought you were on the wrong end of a Brazilian decision. And I asked you about your toughest loss and like how do you reconcile that fight in particular? Because I think you said it was your first time to Brazil and like man, it's just like from an outsider looking in that I sat down, I watched it, I was like, that's that like what were your thoughts?
Immediately, like I was really living in the moment. I wasn't like really too much looking on the result. I just wanted to make the most out of the moment. But if I had like in reflection of it, I was very upset, like on the inside. But there was multiple factors that played into it. It was that I feel like I could have did more. So it was like it wasn't like like I wasn't like gonna make a big huge deal because I know that I could have did more. Like I looked at it as like a positive, like a constructive criticism on myself. You just went out there and put it up there with the guy that's supposed to be he's the guy right now. If we had to be honest, he's the guy in jiu-jitsu. He's the face of jiu-jitsu right now. So you just went out there and went toe to toe with him, and you could have did more. So it was like, okay, next time I'm going to do more, and I'm going to make sure I make the opportunities myself. I'm not going to leave it up to someone else to win the fight. And it was more, I was just trying to give myself like positive affirmations of the match. Obviously, it was hard for me to sleep that night, obviously, because I was like just thinking about, oh, I could have did this, I could have did that. Rewatching the match is like, why didn't I just do this? Why didn't I just do that? But then again, it was like I had people like people around like, oh, that was a good fight. I think you won, stuff like that. So it was like I couldn't beat myself up too much. Also because I had something else coming up the next week. So it was like I can't be stuck in this when I have another whole tournament in 7 days. So that's kind of how I approached that. That was my reflection on the match. I definitely feel like I could have did more in order to win, whether it was like going for more takedowns or like my grips on when I did almost pass the guard, just like little things that I feel like I could critique and improve on.
So having, had a match with him and having felt him, do you feel you would be better prepared in a rematch?
I do. Usually whenever I fight someone the second time, obviously it sucks when you lose the first time, but the second time I feel like I come back stronger. Also in my head that kind of plays on like one of my old nicknames of Captain America, like an Avenger. So like I like to avenge myself. I like to avenge my friends. I like to avenge my teammates or my and stuff like that. Like whenever they lose. So like even as a kid, this is a little story time. Even as a kid, like say me and someone are in the same division at a tournament. They lose to the guy, and now the guy has to fight me in the finals. Like we already know like, oh yeah, I got you. I'll win this match for you. And that also kind of happened at the Brasileiros as well, because my semifinals match was against Jefferson Gotu, and he actually beat my brother at Purple Belt Pans. And when I looked at the division, I seen two people that have beat my brother before, and I'm like, oh yeah, I definitely want to go against these two. But obviously the brackets played out, and I only won against one of them. So, but I was really happy to have that match and the way that I performed in that match, because I wanted to win that for Corey.
So fast forward a week, you undoubtedly fought one of the biggest names in jiu-jitsu with Mika Galvão. 8 days later, you're fighting arguably another one of the biggest names in jiu-jitsu in Tainan. Just talk to us about that match.
So, I fought one match the day before. It was a good match. Then like the next, I felt like the momentum was good. I feel like the momentum was great going into the match. I had 3 matches before. I had 3 submissions, with like a total of like 5 minutes of mat time before the finals. So like the feeling, the confidence going into the match was like, oh, yeah, let's go. Also, like I said with the Avenger thing, I had lost to Tynan at the Crown like 6 months before. I went through like some injuries in between the time, like from like from after the Crown until like March, so where I wasn't competing, I wasn't training that much, and I felt like mentally I was stronger going into the BJ Stars and into Brasileiro. So I reflected on the match that happened at the Crown. I studied Tynan. I studied my match in general, and I feel like I had a good game plan for the match. So going into the match, the mentality was just go out there and do jiu-jitsu. Like, it's not focus on one thing, focus on the other thing. It's just do jiu-jitsu. You know, you felt it before. Just go out there, have fun. So that was my whole mentality while I was in Brazil. I was like, I'm in Brazil. It's just me and Angelo. Like, we're there backing each other up. He coaching me, I'm coaching him. So it's just like, go out there, have a fun time, and have fun winning. So I went out there. In the match, he felt like how he felt in at the Crown, but I felt like I was better prepared mentally and physically for the match.
So there's a lot of talk, and that Tynan is, and he has been so dominant. He did lose that year to Jansen. Jansen played like a very stalling, clutching type game. And then, he had that, what I thought was a somewhat questionable DQ with Lowe.
Mm-hmm.
In your opinion, is Tynan like the unicorn that everybody says he is? Because, you fought him twice. Like, he has all this recognition. Like, what are your thoughts?
I think he's undoubtedly like one of the best. Like, if he's in the pound for pound rankings, I think he's definitely up there. I would like to take that spot. Like, based off of who he's fought, the titles he has, the consistency he has, and all that, like, he's undoubtedly one of the best. He's fought some of the best guys. He doesn't change the weight class, necessarily chase people to fight, whereas some people do, and some people go away from weight classes so they don't fight. But yeah, he stays where he's at, and if people come in the division, that's who he fights. A lot of people say like, oh, he fights like he doesn't go up in the weight class, he doesn't fight like these guys, he doesn't fight these guys, but he just fights who's in front of him, which is respectable. So yeah, I would say like feeling his game, feeling grappling against him, competing against him, he's definitely one of the top dogs out there.
Okay, so we got about 10 minutes left on the podcast, Elijah, and I've been throwing you some pretty softball questions, so I'm going to give you a hard one right now.
Oh, shoot.
Who is better, Mika Galvin or Tynan Dolpra?
Well, I haven't fought Mika in the gi, and I haven't fought Tynan in no gi. I've trained with him a little bit. I've trained with him a little bit in no gi, but it wasn't like we're not competing. We're just training, getting the sweat going. This was before like the last Who's Number One that I competed at. So I can't say, but I would love to see that fight. Who do I think will win? I feel like in a gi fight, I feel like it depends on who's on top and who's on bottom. If whoever pulls, if Tynan pulls, I feel like he can win the fight. If the fight is fought standing and Mika controls the fight, he makes the first action, then I feel like that's his better chance of winning. But Tynan's his stability and the way to like calm a storm, it can like negate Mika's like not spastic but like spontaneous attacks. He has a lot of spontaneous attacks, whether it's like drags or like arm bars that just come out of nowhere. So you never know which angle he's gonna come from, but everyone can be controlled at some point. And I feel like Tynan has a game where he can solidify and be strong in his positions and control the fight in the gi.
So one piece of masterful coaching that I saw and I respected, I did not like it, was we saw Mika beat Tynan as a brown belt. Tynan was a black belt. Then Mika went on to fight Janata in the finals.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Janata had very, very specific guidance from Guy. Let's tie this kid up in the 50-50, eke out the win, which Janata did do.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw that fight. But, like, I'm sure you'd agree, certainly as a fan, we would like to see Mika and Tynan fight and let their jiu-jitsu speak for itself and have a wide open game.
For sure.
Because how awful would it be, the hype around that fight, and imagine you could get who's number one to pay it or something.
Mm-hmm.
And then it boils down to like a 50-50 battle. Like, that would be awful.
Right. No, for sure.
Yeah.
I think like I mean, I don't want to speak for them, of course, but like just if they want to like leave that mark, then this is a fight that will leave a mark on the sport. Like this is like one of the fights that people would think is like a legendary fight. Just the hype behind it, and the fact that they're like holding out on it so much. This is like already a legendary matchup that people are looking forward to see, and I feel like it's not really, like, even if you lose the match, you still put up a legendary matchup no matter how the match goes. Obviously your feelings might get hurt if you lose, but on the bright side, it's a legendary fight, and everyone will remember the fight because it happened.
And I know this might be another tricky question, and I know you'd be guessing or speculating, but I think it's important to give it some thought.
Mm-hmm.
How much money do you think it takes to make that fight?
I think I'll probably say it has to be six figures. Like,
You think that much?
I think so. I don't think the at least the Mika side. I don't think they'll be playing around. Like, they're like, oh yeah, we're gonna get as much. We're gonna tax you guys, and
Yeah. Like, that's Gordon Ryan money. You know what I mean?
right, yeah.
That's
But
a
I
lot of
mean,
money.
Mika's name is big like that. I mean, if we're just going off of like social media following, they both crack 1 million. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Like, yeah, it's pretty. Yeah, I think it'll cost a pretty penny, like 6 figures each, like that type of stuff.
2 more questions for you. Is MMA in your future?
Potentially, it's not a focal point right now. I would say that, but I am 23, and I do believe I have time. I don't plan on stopping anytime soon, and like, if things go according to plan, and the timeline that I have, not a timeline, but like in the time that I want it to happen, which is as soon as possible, then the doors can open up for an MMA fight. Obviously, I've already said it, and I've already like shook on it and stuff like that. But I don't have an MMA career. Let's get that right. I don't think I have an MMA career, but I will have an MMA fight. Probably be amateur, an amateur fight, just to say I did it. I've already shook on that. I said I was gonna do it this year, but things didn't go, or things, I don't know. I'm not even like really focused on like the end of the year because I have things going on right now. So I don't like to look forward too much because I don't know how things are gonna play out.
So what does Elijah want to like accomplish in jiu-jitsu? Like, whether it be MMA, do you have any interest to open your own school in the future?
Yes, I've always had a thought of opening up a school, or like either opening up one, or if the ball falls into the right hands. Wait, no, let's not use that. That sounds kind of crazy. What is the term? Something about ball and court, something like that. If things go a certain way, then I wouldn't like mind like running or taking over here. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like how
Like being a central figure at TLI.
yeah, like Master Lloyd retired or something like that, and then
Gotcha.
me and someone else or something like that, we end up being the guys that run it or something like that.
What would it take for you to be like, oh, I've done what I want to do? Would it be a world championship, a black belt in the gi? Would it be ADCC, a combination? Like, is there a goal in mind that if you achieved, you'd take a long, hard look at retire, stepping away from competition?
Not right now. I've always been on a mindset of why stop until my body or until like I'm like actually like mentally exhausted. And I probably won't, like, I don't think my body, obviously I'm not gonna think that because like I'm 23, but my body might say some different things when I'm 30 or 32 or something like that. But I don't plan on stopping anytime soon. Like that's not even in my brain right now. I feel like I want to win the gi world ADCC, but then after that I'm like, okay, let's the next one too, another one. So I just want to collect as many as possible, because like I've always wanted to play sports, like as a career, and I feel like Jiu-Jitsu has created that path for me. If it wasn't
Welcome to the
then it
Jiu
would be
Jitsu
football.
Crucible Podcast.
Like I said,
Roger doesn't lose this kind of control. He's not the guy who loses this kind of control. I think he got it. I think he's going to get it.
Chester on the
Why
choke
do you
here, really
think the
close to
last
finishing.
year and a half
Excuse me, Roger on the close
started with
possession.
time?
Looks very
He's going to get it.
We've seen such a meteoric,
Join us as we talk about
rise.
competition, recreational training, business development,
Just like
and all
football
things
effect.
jiu-jitsu.
So over the course of the years, it's like the ball starts off small, they just keep bigger and bigger and bigger, and then once it gets to a certain point, things just splash.
Strength and honor.
And that was the splash moment of the
Strength and honor!
at the time, 15 years of hard work. And, then of course, my obviously maturing. So like my mindset, my training schedule, that changed as well. It adjusted for my goals that I wanted to accomplish, and reflection of how previous performance have gone, whether it was like through strength and conditioning or the times that I trained during the day. Those things were adjusted according to what I was trying to accomplish.
And lastly, if you were going to give a piece of advice to a juvenile 1, a juvenile 2, like my son, that struggles through wins and losses, and like, because you've really persevered from the age of 7.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say to all the young athletes that want to be the next Elijah Dorsey? What would your motivation be to them to keep
To keep going. Well, first of all, like if you really want to accomplish something, then it's gonna take ups and downs. Like there's nobody that's gonna be perfect. Everyone has hit speed bumps. Everyone has hit big bumps, and it's just about overcoming those things, staying consistent. Because consistency, like I said, the water will always beat the rock. So you got to stay consistent, stay persistent, and accomplishing your goals. Always like reviewing, reflect, and then keep going. That's pretty much it. Just keep going. Keep going until the wall falls.
Well, Elijah, I really appreciate you doing this. As an American, I really appreciate carrying that flag for American Jiu-Jitsu. I think you're a great representative. I really like working with all the guys from your gym. You guys are professional, respectful. I think you speak very well for your teacher and your academy, and it was a pleasure to have you on the podcast.
Thank you.
You've been listening to the Jiu Jitsu Crucible Podcast. Stay sharp, stay humble, and train hard.